All right, what you will find in this sequence is what I do in the first roughly 40 to 45 minutes of the practice is all defensive focus. One, it's first of all handling serve receive, and then serve receive and first touches to setters. And then beforehand, you'll also see maybe some of the other videos is where I have setters doing setter training and setter prep work. So what you'll see is a slow ramp up, and these are pieces of it where we are working on serve receive or any sort of first contact, and then what I also call first to thirds, and third being a shot that's going to create pressure. And we spend our first 40 to 45 minutes of the practice roughly working in those scenarios, because it's important you manage serve receive, teams that manage serve receives effectively to create pressure on the thirds, take control of a lot of sets. It's a very, very, very important part of my practice sequences, and even all the way down to sub-varsity programs, that the practice sequence involves first contact. You manage the team that manages the first contact the best is usually teams that hijack control over sets and scenarios. So my teams have a tendency to be very disciplined in this, and what you're going to see is these next sequences are bits and pieces of practices that I've had either at the high school level or club level, to where the first sequence of the practice before we get into attack sequences is managing first contact. So this sequence right here, a couple of sequences is some looks at how you'll see me managing a practice with first contact. This first video segment is just serve receive. It's alternating servers. You can't see them in the screen, but the servers are alternating back and forth. You'll serve from the right going to the left, and then after they pass to the setter sets, the left side will then serve to the other side, and each person replaces. This focuses obviously on reading the server, passing out a serve receive, getting the pass as close to the setter target as we can. With the setters also in there focusing on reading the passers. They're setting to dead targets over there out to the outsides or wherever they want to set it, to making sure that they're working on their footwork and reads off a serve receive. We really spend a lot of time and focus on this. This can be 30 minutes of the practice. This could be sometimes up to an hour. If defense doesn't go correct, and if we're not practicing the correct fundamentals on defense, really nothing else can happen in the sport. So we really, really focus on this, especially from the coaching stand, to make sure that we are executing on a serve receive, having the correct passing mechanics and so forth. There's warm-ups we do beforehand, before we go into serve receive scenarios, to make sure that we have proper footwork and passing mechanics as we do this. You'll notice that we kind of go back and forth. This actually goes a little bit faster when we're kind of do this to get more reps, but sometimes I'll slow it down to kind of really emphasize some things coaching-wise if I need to. This next video segment ties on to the last part. We now add attackers to both sides. One side will specifically set to right sides and outsides, or just outsides, and then the other side will set to middles and right sides. And then the setters will switch. This is what I call first to third connection work, also out of serve receive and also free ball scenarios, designed to A, focus on the passing component, and then B, to then connect to cause third contact pressure and induce pressure to our opponents. As you see this segment play, I give coaching as we settle into this, giving them instruction as far as what expectations are in serve receive, letting them know we have the outside over there. The right side of the court is going to be serve receive with the person in this 5 spot, or the left back, that's going to transition out. And then after she passes, she's going to then go and hit strategically. All right. And then as we go about it, then we'll give instruction in there as well, coaching in there as well, as far as what the expectations are in the defensive side of things as this kind of moves along. And then As you'll see in a bit, I'll go back outward. All right. We really break down a lot of things specifically on one side of the court or the other. If the right side of the court was serve receiving, we're going to also look at the defensive side of things. The left side of the court is forming up a defensive side of things. So again, there's a pass, there's a serve, out of serve receive. They're going to manage the free ball coming back over, and we may run some system things that run through there. This I allow them to play it out as it goes along, to kind of get the feeling of reads and transition and footwork and those kind of things, especially dig reads. And in this sequence, it continues on the first to third connection part as far as what we do in practice. You'll see this as part of one of my club teams where we also alternate sides. One side will have passing to setters. The first contact, the setters make the second contact. The third, the court facing you here, will be the outside hitter. Then alternating to the other side, or it could be middles and right side hitters. So there's no defensive play on this. We're really focused on first to thirds, with DSs basically making the passes. So what you'll see here is me giving some coaching on there as far as where we're going to do in this. In this case, having the setter set high and off, kind of a serve receive representation. In the later segments that you'll see, we'll kind of lower the sets and fasten the pace when we get into free ball scenarios. But this is the scenario more off of representing a serve receive where it's going to be set high and off, where the outsides are going to be designed to control it, and the middles and the right sides are also going to be designed to control it. And in this segment, it's very much the same as the last segment, except for we lower the sets. These are in-system sets, for example, on free balls and even some serve receive, that we're now lowering the sets so we can kind of beat blocks out there. And instead of having a double block, we get single blocks. But you'll notice that these sets are lower. These sets are lower by design so that we get it out there quicker, so the middle can't get there from the other side. But these are in-system sets, so they're very similar to the last one, first to third connection, but we're now in system sets where the sets are lower. Now in this segment, you'll see that we kind of tie this all together. This is a controlled 6-on-6 or 6-on-5 scenario. Again, working on first to third connections. In the previous segment, it was isolated, really just one side with not playing out on the other. This side, we're going to allow the two sides to play it out. So we're accomplishing more than one task here at a time. What we're going to do is we're going to work on first to third connection. So you'll first, second, to third, they're going to defend it, or they should defend it. So we'll get a first, a second, and this time that left side's to the middles. All right, and then you can see me giving some coaching and feedback in there as well on the court as far as where they're going to go. Here's a first to third working on the right side. So the right side of the court, it's outsides and right sides. On the left side of the court, it's middles and outsides. And now you can see them getting in a sequence where they're playing it out. We control this and isolate scenarios in the early part of it. But then as we move on, we let them play to kind of get the feeling of motion and picking up the pace and speeding some things up. So this is a little bit of a rougher segment, but we're kind of learning on some things here as far as the scenarios we kind of want to get into here. But as you can see, they also get the segments where they're playing it out. And this part right here, this is a good one. They'll pass, they'll make the set. There's the attack. Now there's a defender. So now we work on first to thirds. In this scenario, a pressure shot into there. Now they control it. They're going to run a pressure shot. So we try to induce pressure on every first to third scenario that we get. The practices work from defense to first to thirds to working up to where we're getting into a little bit active situations here and identifying what we can do. And in this last video sequence is where we work on system work. And this is done on both sides, alternating sequences if we can. But these are system plays. It's a free ball that comes over. You'll see all the front row players running the routes for the particular play. You'll see this is called our overload play, where the right side runs into the 5 of the middle slot. The middle attacker will run to the B slot and attack, and our outside will run to a 1 spot, which is an outside attack. All of these plays are designed to be low sets, tempo sets, fast pace, so we control the tempo and create a lot of aggressive plays when our opponents send over free balls. And as you can see in this sequence, you can see me giving detailed instructions on what play we're running, who runs what route, set our expectations, and so forth. We really talk about a lot of details as far as what we really want to run out of these things and proper footwork and those kind of scenarios. So we really break a lot of these things down.